Hey everybody, Danny Davis, the Austin American-Statesman here. This is the Longhorn Confidential for January 10th, 2023. As always, I'm joined by the fellas. We got Kirk Bowles, we got Cedric Golden, we got Thomas Jones. Thanks for watching us on YouTube, statesman.com, listening to us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple, Spotify, wherever you get those podcasts. We do appreciate you listening. Michigan closed out the college football season on Monday. Kirk Bowles was in the press box. They beat Washington for the national championship game. Personally, my college football season ended the day before when Montana lost to South Dakota State in the FCS championship game, which is a little
I
hard
actually,
for me, but
Daniel, I actually watched some of that just
I did
because of
too.
you.
you
I
were one of
did.
the very few because the ratings were terrible because we decided to go up against NFL football. I don't know what ESPN was doing, but is what it is. But before we start looking ahead to a 2024 season that features Texas going to Ann Arbor, which is going to be a lot of fun to visit the champs. Let's kind of take one last look back at the 2023 season, kind of what Texas accomplished this past season. Texas went 12-2, reached a college football playoff semifinals for the first time in school history. Also won the Big 12 championship for the first time since 2009. On paper, there are about 1,900 snaps in the college football season. We decided that we're going to pick the 8 best in today's podcast, 8 or 12, kind of depending on how long we go. We're going to do this in draft fashion, a little snake draft fashion. I know this is not a groundbreaking idea. I think another podcast has actually done this for the Texas football season, so check that out. Good. We're going to have fun. This is a fun way to kind of go through the season. This is how we're gonna do it. On order, I've actually been overruled on this order. On order, we're going to go Kirk, said I was going to take the second spot, but said overruled me. He's got seniority here. So Kirk said
I'm old.
Thomas. We're going to pick, Kirk's going to go first. Not because he was the Football Writers Association of America's Burt McGrain Award winner for this past season, picked up that award this past week in Houston for all of his contributions that he's made to college football in that organization. That's not the reason he's going first. He's going first because he finished second place in our fantasy football league. So I think that's a bigger accomplishment in my mind. But
Wow.
we'll let Kirk go first, and Sed will go, then me, then Thomas, and we'll do it snake draft fashion. So Thomas will pick first in the second round. So without further ado, we'll let Kirk go first. Kirk, what was the top play of the Texas 2023 football season? Kind of say the play and what it meant to the Texas football season.
To me, it's very easy. And I'll say 2 words. I want to see if you get 3 agree with me instantly or not. But the name is Jordan Whittington.
Of
And
course.
his hustle play against TCU, Quinn had thrown an interception. I don't know, was it pass to Jordan or was it to Xavier? Y'all remember?
It was
It
to
was
Xavier.
it was to X, and
That's
then
what I thought.
Jordan actually, Duck,
Fell down.
missed the tackle of the interceptor and jumped up and chased him down.
And he fell down. He was on the ground, remember? And
Yes.
I
He
don't know,
missed
what
the
do you
tackle
think he ran? 40, 50 yards? Because
easily.
that TCU dude was scooting. And Jordan traces his steps and comes up and pokes the ball out with a strip fumble. And Worthy recovered that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
So
he
he
did.
was hustling just as much. And to me, it reminded me of that little Jordan Humphrey play against OU that Tom Herman always raved about, and then the Bijan Robinson moving the pile against TCU 2 years ago. Those are like culture plays and hustle plays, and I thought it spoke volumes for the team, and it showed they were all in no matter what. There was no quit, and that was, every play was instrumental in that game because it was so close. So to me, that was the top play of 2023.
Said, was that going to be your first pick, or what are you glad Kirk left your first pick on the board?
That's the biggest play of the year, and it typified it represented what Steve Sarkisian's trying to build here.
Right.
And it's an attitude, it's a belief, it's a culture. And he could have easily laid down and for 2 seconds and then jumped back up, and he never would have caught the guy. He jumped right back up after missing the tackle. So he made an effort. He made extra effort. And that's the difference between a good team and a great team. So yeah, that was my number one. I will go with a play that may not have been as recognized. We thought Texas would be good, but we weren't sure. The Wyoming game, 10-10. in the third after 3 quarters. And Quinn Ewers throws a simple hitch pass to Xavier Worthy, and then boom, he goes down the sideline for 49 yards for a touchdown. And that was not an easy game for the Longhorns. And we were sitting there going, man, are they going to lose to Wyoming? I mean, that's how crucial that was. And so it kind of sent the message that maybe, just maybe, and we weren't sure at the time, maybe, just maybe, this is one of those teams that's going to figure out how to win tough games. And they did. They absolutely did. And it also has NFL scouts drooling because in one play, Xavier Worthy showed why he's probably going to be a first-round pick. There's no substitute for blinding speed and elusiveness, and he has both.
Shocking.
I'll go with, I guess Kirk's play was kind of defensive, but I'll go with defense for the first my first pick. I kind of got this idea to do this for a podcast at the December 3rd press conference with Steve. I asked him, hey, what kind of play exemplified this Texas team? And he picked the goal line stand against Kansas State. 33-30, it was in overtime. Texas pretty much dead to rights because Kansas State was just moved the football right to the 6. They just need a touchdown to win. First and goal on the 6, stop Will Howard on a short run. And then second down, Devondre Sweat bats the ball down, pass breakup from the big defensive lineman. Third down is an incomplete pass, and the fourth down, Texas covers this play perfectly a couple weeks after Oklahoma kind of embarrassed them with a similar play to win that game. Texas covers it right, and Barron Sorrell was able to kind of get to Will Howard for a sack. So Texas's season is over. Not over. They still have a season to play, but their Big 12 title hopes may have been shot. They definitely aren't making the CFP without that play. And a Texas team that's not known for its defense made a huge defensive stand against a really good Kansas State team and a really good quarterback who just got recruited to go to Ohio State. So, I mean, that was a great defensive stand that obviously saved Texas this season. So I'll take those 4 plays at the goal line. But if you're going to pick one, maybe that Barron Sorrell swatting the ball down on second down in the goal line stand. TJ, what's your first round pick?
I'm going back to Sed's guy X. Looking back on this season, it's still the win in Tuscaloosa, beating Alabama, was the defining win for this team. It propelled them to the season they had, and it got them a spot in the CFP. And I don't think that win happens until Quinn, in the second quarter, kind of set that tone. 44-yard deep pass to Xavier Worthy, who had to adapt in the air. He hauled it in. Beautiful play. You remember up to that point in the season, we were all bugging Sark about that deep ball. Where's the deep ball on the offense? Why can't Quinn throw the deep ball? Well, they got it done against Alabama. That gave them a lead. And Xavier showed what kind of player he is and what kind of season he would end up having. I thought it was the biggest play and the biggest win of the biggest season in 15 years for the Longhorns.
And TJ, we'll go back to you for your second round pick. What's next?
Nice, TJ. Nice.
Hey, I'm going defense this time. We got to go offense and defense. And I'm kind of piggybacking off Sed again. We forget that Wyoming game, as Sed mentioned, it's 10-10 going into the 4th. So everyone's thinking, man,
lost.
What happened in Tuscaloosa, was that a fluke? Is this team not ready for the big time to show they are consistent? So Xavier gets that big touchdown. The light show's pumping. The crowd's going crazy. The students are into it. The beer's flowing. Fireworks are going off. Boom. Jaron Thompson, that pick 6. Jaron Thompson, who's now left the program. Great career at Texas. 4 years, 3-year starter. And then he had that pick 6 in the 4th quarter against Wyoming. And that kind of opened the floodgates. And it just showed Texas is a balanced team. They're going to make big plays offensively. They're going to make them on special teams. And they showed they can make them on defense on that play too.
Wait a minute. So 2 of the top 5 picks are Wyoming game. What are you guys smoking? Crack? I mean,
I'm playing.
Hey,
I'm
like
playing.
thinking,
I'm playing checkers, not chess.
This is a narrative, Duck. We're building up
narrative.
the narrative.
And my my other pick that I was going to go with, I kind of hold it away because I'm hoping it gets back to me.
Yeah, but it's
This
got
is
to
like
be
a real
higher,
fantasy
it's
league draft.
higher. You guys would have picked Ryan Leaf. I just know it. I just know it. I'm a little worried about you two.
I'll be
But
honest, I could pick 10 plays from that Bama game alone, second game of the
yeah,
season.
but you picked Wyoming. That's my problem.
I'm
Alabama,
telling you,
no
10
They
problem.
10
lose
in the
that
third,
game, it don't
10
matter what they
10.
did at Bama.
A night game at DKR, Jaron Thompson making that play, that was a magical moment right there.
Okay,
Magical.
Danny, help me here. Help me set them straight. Come on.
I
Go
don't-
back to the Wyoming game, Daniel. Don't
I don't
disappoint me.
I don't acknowledge Wyoming, although I was very glad
Thank
to
you.
see them
Thank
lose.
you.
But I'm actually gonna go back to Kirk's TCU game. I thought there was two plays in that game that you could have picked. The second one, aside from Jordan Whittington, which was a great number one overall pick. The game's in the fourth quarter. Texas is trying to kill the clock. It is they had a 3rd and 12. They're deep in their own territory. I think TC had one timeout left, and Texas could have played it safe. They could have handed the ball off. Jonathan had been hurt by that point, but given the ball to CJ Baxter, they could have run a screen pass or something like that. And Steve asked Quinn to throw it deep, and Adonai Mitchell made an incredible 35-yard reception down the sideline. It was one of those passes. I think every one of us in the press box when Quinn dropped and threw it deep, everyone's kind of like, "What the heck are they doing?" But it was a perfect pass. Great catch. One of many catches that Adonai had 11 touchdown catches this year, but I think that was his best reception, was a 35-yard one that just kind of sealed that 29-26 win at TCU, which another close call that could have been a huge upset, could have been completely killed Texas this season. But TCU doesn't get the ball back. Adonai has one hell of a highlight to put in his highlight reel when he eventually, I think we're all expecting him to declare for the draft, although he hasn't made his decision public yet. I think we all expect him to be heading off to bigger and brighter things down the road. But that was an incredible throw, incredible catch, incredible call. And I think we often criticize teams for not playing it safe when they get a little aggressive, or when they get a little aggressive for not playing it safe. And I think they kind of defied wisdom there, and it worked out. And I thought it was just probably the best catch. I agree with TJ that catch at Alabama that X had was incredible. But I think for my money, that was the one catch that sticks in my mind. Said, we'll go back to you. I don't know if you're going to pick that one, or if your pick's still on the board. What are you picking?
No. My pick's on the board. Horns down 16-13 in Tuscaloosa, and the fans are going crazy because the Tide had just taken the lead. And Quinn Ewers showed some real moxie against the fierce pass rush. He looked right, and then he went back to his left, and he had a wide open Jatavian Sanders about 20 yards downfield, and Jatavian turned on the Jets, and it was a 50-yard catch and run that kind of got things back settled down for Texas. And Jatavian showed why he's going to be probably a first or second round pick in this draft with that yak. And it set up a touchdown pass to Adonai Mitchell. What I loved about the play is he ran past Kool-Aid McKinstry, one of the best cornerbacks in the country.
Yeah.
And it let us know in the press box, oh, this is not the Texas team that was blowing second half leads and losing games of this magnitude. This is a Texas team with belief. This is a Texas team in Tuscaloosa that just took a best shot from Alabama and scored the first of 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That's how good Texas was. And it was the unofficial announcement to the college football world that, yes, the Longhorns are a player. I thought that was a huge play.
I like it.
Kirk, what's your second round pick?
I like that fair catch by Keelan Robinson against Wyoming in the second half. I thought that was
Whatever.
a pivotal play in this season. But
Don't be a douche.
so this is play number 8. It should probably be top 3 or 4, and that's Jahdae Barron against Houston. Okay, 4th and 1.
That's on my
Fourth-
list.
Yeah, but it's got to be higher than 8th. I think I can remember sitting in the press box with you guys eating Frenchie's Fried Chicken.
Well, hold on before you say something.
What?
If you had agreed to be the 4th pick, it would have made top 8. How about that?
I didn't have a group. I was assigned the first pick. Okay, so, but Jahdae Barron was hurt. Remember, and it was forced into playing some cornerback, and then there was just, if I recall, there may have been an iffy spot by the refs on third down, which I still think that was a heck of a call for Texas fans and will live in infamy for Houston. But so I guess it was 4th and 1, and I don't remember who the receiver was. It wasn't Matt Golden, was it? It was the other end from where we were sitting. But anyway, it deflected that, held off Houston, which was going for the either tying touchdown and maybe the winning extra point or whatever Dana would have chosen to do. But so I got another defensive play as my second best play in non-Wyoming games.
I think we have a little extra time, so let's go a third round. We'll kind of go through this
Yeah.
lightning style.
Yeah,
Kirk,
you
we'll
My
go back
last
to you.
pick. This is my last pick, and I know you're not going to like it, Kirk, and I don't even care.
I'm
Can we
sure.
give him the Burt McGrant Award, and all of a sudden he gets all brand new on us. You're just, I mean, you're pompous. You are pompous today.
It's Wyoming. It's Wyoming.
And
Okay.
if they lose the Wyoming game, Danny Davis is back in San Antonio.
But
That's
they did,
how big that was.
but they did lose. We're not revisiting history. We're reciting history. What do you got?
You're not going to like it, but I don't care. We all talk about the very mental fragility of college kickers. And Burt Auburn was money all year long. 4 for 4 against Kansas State in a game that may have knocked them out of the Big 12 championship game if they had lost, including a money 42-yarder to provide the difference. 33-30, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we cannot overlook the contributions of Burt Auburn to this team's success. He was the most dependable player on this team, right there with T'Vondre Sweat. Lou Groza Award finalist or whatever. He's on that list. He was very highly considered. And to win that game at money time, and a 42-yard field goal is not a given, not on Saturday and not on Sunday. But he got it done. He had a great year, great hair, great kick. Burt Auburn.
And 19 in a row too, remember?
There you go.
Kirk, what's your last pick?
My last pick, mentioning the field goal, I was tempted to mention the fake field goal by Burt Auburn and Ryan Sanborn, where they were short of the first down, only because I thought Sark was less cute with his fourth down calls after that. I think maybe he learned his lesson when he could have put Houston away early. And so, but I think I'm going to go with, I guess I'm going to go with yet another defensive play. I wish I had Jordan. I wish I had a Brooks run, but he had so many of them. They all run together. He was so spectacular. I'm going to go with T'Vondre Sweat, the big man, the SWAT on the extra point against Iowa State.
Yes.
Jordan run back to give him 2 points. And you guys were there. I was watching on TV, and it was like, that game was so tense, I mean, it was just nip and tuck. And remember, Texas had 2 touchdowns called back. I mean, it was almost as good as the Wyoming game, but I'm picking that play as my third pick. I'm
actually going to, I guess T'Vondre is easily the team MVP because I'm picking the third T'Vondre Sweat play out of this deal, and it's his touchdown. The Big 12 championship game, just because of the message it sent. I don't know if it's so much the play, but it was a message that Texas said, we're going to do whatever we want, and y'all aren't going to stop us. We're going to have our 360-pound defensive lineman, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, catch a touchdown pass. He is going to have a bigger highlight on here than the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, which Ollie Gordon was, stuffed at the line of scrimmage the entire game. And that just, I think it was their third touchdown, but it just kind of set the tone. It came out to the flea flicker to Jatavian Sanders, but it was we're going to win this Big 12 championship game. Take notice, college football playoff selection committee, and there's nothing that anyone's going to do if we're going to have our defensive tackle catch and touchdown passes. So I just like the message that stood. I like the Jatavian's little Heisman celebration afterwards. afterwards, and is nice for the big guy who had plenty of defensive highlights to get an offensive one to kind of, say farewell to Texas with. But that's
You know
my
what? And that's the message that Sark sent to the locker room. I mean,
Hmm.
nothing makes these guys happier than a defensive guy scoring a touchdown. The offensive guys think it's cool, and the defensive guys go nuts. And it just kind of brought them. They were already a close locker room. We know that, but it just sent a message that, you know what, this place is united, and they were after big fish after that.
Byron Murphy somehow got 2 touchdowns this year, so I guess he has a little bigger nights over Tavondre. But Thomas, why don't you close us out here with your last pick?
Well, fittingly, it comes in the last game. And look, we all know Jordan Whittington's one of the most beloved players in recent years at Texas. 5 years, he was a 5-star kid coming out of Cuero. Kind of injuries robbed him of what he could have been. But what a career. And what's our final memory of Jordan? In
What a
the
great catch.
in the
What a
CFP
win.
semifinal against Washington, 3rd and 10, 21 seconds left. Quinn heaves it up. Jordan makes a jumping, twisting, diving catch for 41 yards, I think.
Was.
And it set Texas up. It gave them a chance to win that game.
To steal it.
And no one thought that was going to happen until Jay Witt made that play. And I was down on the sideline by the time when that happened. So I kind of saw it firsthand, and I was like, oh, that's an incompletion. No, Jay Witt got up in the air, read it. Just a tremendous play by a tremendous kid. Or I should say a man. I mean, he's been around for a long time. That's the memory he leaves Texas with. That's the last memory fans have of him. Awesome way for him to go out. The only thing better is if they would have scored on the next couple plays, and gotten to play Michigan last night.
I
They
love
would
that
have
pick.
beat Michigan.
I love that pick, but he did have one catch for 14 yards against Wyoming. I don't know why you're overlooking that one.
Look,
Hey,
Bert.
that was on a
Look,
2nd and 3
Bert.
in the second quarter, Duck.
Okay,
Don't be a
Bert.
hater. Don't be a hater.
Start calling you Bert. Where's Ernie?
To recap our little draft here, Kirk went first. He picked the Jordan Whittington forced fumble on the interception return against TCU. Then in the second round, he picked Jahdae Barron's 4th down stop at Houston at the final minute of that game. And then he finished off with Tavondre Sweat's blocked extra point against Iowa State that was a return for 2 points the other way. Austin Jordan had that return.
Offense, defense, special teams.
Yep.
Balanced, Duck.
Cedric went his first play, Xavier Worthy against Washington. His touchdown. Wyoming, sorry.
They could have used the next touchdown against Washington. They sure could have.
I've ignored all the Wyoming talk. My bad. His second pick was the Jatavian Sanders 50-yard catch against Alabama. Kind of sent a message when that game was getting close against a really good Alabama defense. And then his third pick was Bert Auburn's. Bert had 4 field goals in that Kansas State game, but specifically the one in overtime that ended up being the difference in that game. We'll stick with the Kansas State game for my first pick, which was the goal line stand, specifically the 2nd down play, the swap by Tavondre Sweat. Then Adonai Mitchell, 3rd and 12, his 35-yard catch in the TCU game to close out that one. And then Tavondre Sweat's touchdown catch in the Oklahoma State game. Thomas went last, still had 3 good picks. Xavier Worthy, his touchdown catch against Alabama. Then his Jaron Thompson pick 6 versus Wyoming, because we love the Wyoming game. And then to finish it out, Jordan Whittington's spectacular catch as Texas was trying to rally in the Sugar Bowl against Washington. A nice lasting memory for Jordan Whittington. So 2 nice Jordan Whittington plays in this breakdown, 3 Tavondre Sweat's fitting, since those were the 2 big senior leaders on this team. And yeah, that's kind of the 2023 season. Before we get out of here, do y'all have
no Red River shootout, I noticed.
Yeah, that was actually on my list. I thought
I agree.
Well, Dylan Gabriel's late scramble, huge.
That last
didn't
loss
make the
to
list,
Texas, it was a wake-up call. And Texas won 7 straight after that and saved their season. And we've seen Texas teams completely collapse after losses like this, and this Texas team didn't. So even though that was not a fun memory for Texas fans, it was still a pivotal moment in this season, and obviously played a part in how things rolled out. But before we get out of here, any other lasting memories from this 2023 season before we try to finally flip the page for 2024?
For me, going back to Tuscaloosa, sorry if I'm harping on that. That was just such a monumental win for the program. And that win alone, I think, could carry them into something special over the next few years. That's what I'll always remember of this season.
Said
I got a couple. One is Malik Murphy dancing, going to the line of scrimmage for his first play against. It was totally relaxed, totally chill. I got this. That was cool. And then lastly, the ceremonial tip of the hat to Jonathan Brooks in the Big 12 championship game where he lines up in the backfield. I mean, that'll
I
hit
love
you
that, man.
hard.
I love
That
that.
tugs at those
That was good.
heartstrings, and
It was
he
good.
was, it gives you goosebumps even now. I
Sports.
mean,
That's
he
sports,
was a
man.
Doak Walker Award winner. He was going to be All American, and he's a special guy. And but I love your Jordan Whittington thing, TJ. That was just what a way for him to go out.
Yeah.
What a baller.
Yeah.
So
Mine, I've got a couple. Number one, the booze that cascaded down at Jerry World for Bray Yarmark when he's trying to present that trophy to Steve
Big 12,
Sarkisian, who
bye-bye.
had the Cheshire Cat smile, and he kept going, "Hey!" Steve's like trying to calm him down when he was fit, but his heart was going, "Yeah."
It's like, hey,
Keep those boos coming. So that was my first one. Man, the second one was the huge roar that went up for Arch Manning when he came into that game. I'm telling you, people have killed me on Twitter for writing that Queen, yours isn't guaranteed that spot. I mean, these people love Arch Manning. And if Arch Manning is as good as they think he is, you're telling me that it's a wrap already for the starting quarterback? He's a Manning.
Sark likes
It's going to
competition.
be an interesting. That's going to be an interesting spring and summer, and God willing, we'll all be there to chronicle it and to listen to Sarkisian avoid questions about Arch Manning, because if he's as good as we think he is, that's going to be a real battle for that job.
I personally believe it's Quinn's job to lose if he comes back, but Sark does.
And who's saying he's not going to lose it?
Sark does say he does love competition, but I expect to see number 3 when the season starts. But we will definitely have to see. What stands out to me is this was a fantastic fall. If you're a Texas Longhorns fan, the football team did not go to the Alamo Bowl. They ended up in the Sugar Bowl, won a Big 12 championship. Soccer team won a Big 12 championship, went, I believe, 3 rounds deep in their NCAA tournament. The volleyball team, they did what the volleyball team does.
They just did volleyball stuff.
Yeah, won another national championship and a Big 12 title. And Brett Yarmark has to be scrambling when he's losing all his conference champions to the SEC next year. We'll see what happens in basketball season, but that's obviously a fantastic fall if you're a Texas sports fan, as they kind of leave the Big 12 with maybe their middle fingers raised. They're
not the deuces.
They're just
half the deuces.
Deuces, middle finger. I don't know, but they're leaving their mark in their final season. But before we get out of here, a couple events going on around campus we want to let y'all know about. The men's basketball team, which is ranked 25th in the AP poll, they're on the road the entire week at Cincinnati on Tuesday night, at West Virginia on Saturday. Women's basketball team, they are home against TCU on Wednesday night at
Me and Daniel.
Yep.
Let's go.
At Kansas State on Saturday. That'll be a 10-12 matchup. One of the best players in the country, Aoka Lee, for Kansas State, will get to face some of those bigs at Texas, plus Madison Booker, who's having a fantastic freshman season.
She is tough.
Check out that game on Saturday. That'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, statesman.com, we are still producing a lot of work, even though I'm still trying to recover from the Sugar Bowl. But statesman.com, all of our basketball coverage, all of our football offseason coverage. On Second Thought Podcast, y'all doing anything? Or you guys actually taking some time off this week?
Doug, what we doing? We want to do a podcast this week?
We can. I mean, I've been home 3 minutes from Houston, so
okay. So no, we're not doing a podcast this week. We will come back. We got to get we're going to take off the next 2 weeks because I'm going out of town this weekend.
Where are you going?
None of your freaking business.
You brought it up.
Bert McGrain. I'm going out of town for a little siesta, and I'm going to be off next week. So we may do a podcast this week. We don't want to make them wait, even though this was tremendous, Danny. This was a great idea.
This was fun, just like the whole season, man. I love working with you guys, and love all that we do and all that we produce, especially all the takeaways. And I say we do it again next year. What do you say, guys?
Alamo Bowl's off the table for Danny.
Like my mother-in-law used to say, God willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be back.
All right.
Let's
Well,
see
we
what the
appreciate
SEC is all
y'all.
about, man. We'll see what the SEC is about.
We appreciate y'all tuning in throughout the season, watching us on YouTube, listening to us wherever you get your podcast. We'll be around when we're around, and we hope y'all enjoy the off season. And yeah, deuces.
Merry New Year.
Be safe.